We begin 25 miles outside of Lincoln City, along the coast of Oregon, late in the afternoon of October 23rd, 1988.
In the wintertime, it's real cold. Our ocean is very cold here.
You lose body temperature 5 times faster in cold water than you do in, say, cold air like up in the snow.
Predicted survival time can be as little as 10 or 15 minutes for those who struggle and try to swim to shore. The more you swim, the faster you will die.
Despite the dangerous waters, onshore winds and cliffside updrafts made Cape Kiwanda an ideal spot for hang gliders like Steve Scott.
I just ran into him after quite a few years in Portland. He asked me if I wanted to try some hang gliding. I said, yeah. So we came down here for a month, and he's showing me hang gliding.
While Rex Willie was new to the sport, his longtime friend Steve had flown from these bluffs many times in the past 8 years.
Steve was crabbing back and forth along the ridges, and that's where your most powerful wind is. And you can just float there forever until you want to come down. But that day, he just went out over the Cape, got a little too low to where the wind couldn't take him back up over the Cape there. And he tried to do his maneuvers to gain wind underneath his hang glider, and he was just going farther and farther below the cliff.
Steve fought to turn his glider toward the shore, but the strong winds kept pushing him further out to sea.
He's in. Go get help. We need some help out here.
When he went in the water, that was the scariest. Now what do I do? I didn't know if he was going to survive. I mean, that's a friend I've known for years.
When we continue.
Once the cold gets to the core area of the body, it causes problems with the heart and the brain. It may cause unconsciousness, confusion, or even cardiac arrest.
Follow unsung heroes saving lives and witness courage and compassion in action.
Okay, I'll be in the back. I'm gonna be in the back of the ambulance waiting for you.
Paramedics, next on Discovery Health Channel.
Tonight, for LA's Air Ops, minutes can mean the difference between life and death. See how these real-life heroes get in and out of the toughest spots to save lives on the Critical Hour. Tonight on Discovery Health Channel.
Nestucca Fire Chief Jim Clausen happened to be in the area.
I was driving down Cape Kiwanda Drive, and as I was driving down, there was a pickup truck driving the opposite direction that apparently recognized my vehicle. Recognized the lights, and he flagged me down. And when I stopped, the gentleman in there told me a hang glider had just gone down in the ocean about a quarter mile off the Cape.
Okay. We'll take care of it, thanks. 800, 8150.
8150.
I just got a report of a hang glider went off the Cape and into the ocean. Would you please page this out, please?
1716. Pacific City Woods Ambulance, Nestucca Fire Rescue, closest OSP or Sheriff's Office.
An ambulance was immediately dispatched, along with a specially trained volunteer water rescue squad. Steve was stranded 3/4 of a mile out to sea. In the chilly water without a wetsuit, his body temperature began to plunge rapidly. People with water rescue equipment began arriving within minutes.
It's not a regular jet ski. We have what's called a wedge that wraps around it. It's a flotation device that causes the jet ski to act a little bit more like a boat.
Barbara Riedesel was one of the first members of the Nescowan Volunteer Surf Rescue Squad on the scene.
Jim was already there, ready to go. And he said, "Who's going?" I said, "Well, I am." They have a mat that lays behind the jet ski, and so Jim got on it and got on the jet ski, and I lay on the mat, and then he just drug me out through the swells.
We had never actually performed an actual rescue with this equipment. And possibly, instead of going out rescuing one person, there may end up being other people having to come out and rescue 3 of us.
Spotters along the shore used flags to direct the jet ski to the hang glider.
Because of these 16-foot swells, it's impossible to just look out across like you would a lake and see somebody, because they're 90% of the time they're buried in a swell somewhere.
That same day, an hour up the coast, a shark had attacked a surfer.
I swam to him, and I started talking to him to see if he could relate to me at all. Well, he couldn't talk real well. He was that cold. So I just took my life jacket off and put it on him, told him what I was doing, who I was, and made him repeat things to me.
She was basically holding on to the jet ski with one hand and holding on to Steve with the other, because he was unable to do anything. And we took off and attempted to head into shore, but it turned out that the jet ski was not capable of pulling 3 people. It had the power to do 2 okay, but we couldn't pull 3. So we turned around, headed back out to where the hang glider was left in the ocean. And Barbara and I had a real brief discussion that only 2 of us were going to be able to make it in. Obviously, Steve would have to be one of those people, and that one of us would have to wait there with the hang glider while we took him in.
Barbara, the stronger swimmer, volunteered to stay behind.
I had a little feeling of panic about that point, because I suddenly realized that if I were to do anything wrong, swamp the jet ski or whatever, that both Steve's life and now Barbara's life depended on my actions from that point to shore.
Steve had spent nearly 45 minutes in the frigid waters. Paramedic Dennis Knudsen assessed his condition at the scene.
He was conscious, but just barely conscious, which would indicate his core temperature was probably significantly dropped, and his brain was being affected by the cold also. Once the cold gets to the core area of the body, it causes problems with the heart and the brain. May cause unconsciousness, confusion, heart arrhythmias, or even cardiac arrest.
Steve's body temperature had dropped below 85 degrees, a level that could be fatal.
This is hot oxygen that'll keep your heart and lungs warm, okay? I want you to breathe.
We immediately started cutting off his clothes, got the wet ones out from underneath him and off of him, and started wrapping him in more blankets. I guess our biggest challenge was trying to calm him down and keep the cold blood in the extremities from getting to the heart and causing it to fibrillate.
So careful. Okay, he's... I'm going to get a dry blanket.
After about 10 minutes of rewarming, he started to become a little more combative, which is also an indication that the brain doesn't really know what's going on.
Steve, it's okay.
When Jim returned to the hang glider, Barbara was gone.
I started zigzagging up and down the coast, basically, parallel to the shoreline, looking for her and could not find her anywhere. My second moment of panic hit about that time, not knowing what had happened to Barbara and having a real feeling of responsibility that I had left her there and now could not find her. It was getting dark, There was a little bit of fog starting to drift in. So I started heading in. As I did, and could see the flags better, I could see what direction they were pointing. And probably halfway in between where the hang glider was and shore, I finally spotted her in the surf line, with her arms up, flagging me down.
When it began to get dark and the jet skis still had not returned, Barbara had begun to swim towards shore. Steve was admitted to North Lincoln Hospital under the care of Dr. Erling Oxenholt.
I was concerned because the report was his inside body temperature was 85 degrees. In the past, the majority of those kind of patients have died. We have a hypothermia card available at all times. We had our team there with our respiratory therapist to give him hot oxygen.
Okay, let's raise that a little bit.
Then we placed 2 large tubes into his abdominal cavity with warm solutions at about 110 degrees. 1 tube to take the fluid in, 1 tube to take the fluid out, because we don't want the cold blood from the extremities going back to the heart, but we'll send warm blood from the heart and lungs out to the extremities. And we try to always warm them from the inside out.
Steve's temperature and vital signs were constantly monitored. Over the next 2 hours, his body temperature gradually rose until he was finally out of danger.
Okay, what's our temperature now?
96.
Good, let's get him ready for transport to the ICU.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Go.
2 years later, Steve Scott has completely recovered, but he still holds a special place in his heart for the people who came to rescue him.
Barbara Riesel was there floating in the water, and I said, "Son of a gun, I'm going to live." And she said, "You bet your ass you are." There's a lot of people who will watch who don't want to become involved. And then there's another half of people out there who want to help and will go way out of their way and risk life and limb to help others and save them. If they hadn't shown up, I wouldn't be here. No doubt in my mind. I wouldn't last another 5 minutes out there.